Hello, once again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our virtual classroom. Today, I want to go over building and reading box plots, And so for that, I'm going to use this assignment from DeltaMath as a template. And again, remember that this is a recording. And so if you need to pause it, rewind it, please do so, okay? Don't think that you just have to view the whole thing at once. So let's begin with this data set right here. Let's begin with this data set. And remember that anytime you're given a data set, you must organize it from least to greatest, Now, thankfully here on DeltaMath, they've already organized it from least to greatest. Now, what I recommend is that if you're given a data set on the computer, go ahead and write it on your paper. That way you can actually write on the data set and you're not having to use just your mind to organize the data. And so here I can write on the computer screen, so I'm just going to write on the computer screen. But if you need to write it on your paper, please do so. That's the easiest way to do this. Because, ladies and gentlemen, when given a data set, step number one, we need to find the median. You must find the median, and the median is always going to be Q2. So in other words, we're going to cut the data in half. That's the first thing that we must do. So I can see here that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points. So that means that I'm going to have 6 on one side and 6 on the other. In my experience, the surest way to make sure that you don't mess this up is to simply pair them up. Think about separating the data into two teams, the left side and the right side. And so, for example, the 4 is going to go to the left, the 16 to the right. The second 4 to the left, the second 16 to the right, etc. The 5 this way, the 14 that way, 6 that way, 14 that way, 6 that way, 13 that way. And then notice, ladies and gentlemen, that I have these two 11s paired up here in the middle. So that means, ladies and gentlemen, that I have two numbers in the middle. I don't have one number in the middle. Notice that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the right. So what do we do when there's two numbers in the middle? We need to get the average of those two numbers. And remember, average or mean means that I need to add them together. So 11 plus 11, which is 22. And then we just divide by 2 because there's two numbers added together, which again just leaves us with 11. So obviously, the average of 11 and 11 is just 11. But if I had two different numbers there, then please remember that you need to add them together and then divide by 2. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my Q2. Or my median. So what I can do is go ahead and already type it in. 11 is my median. Next, ladies and gentlemen, let's find our Q1. Let us look at the left side team, okay, which goes from 4 all the way to this first 11. Remember, this 11 is not the median. Okay, the median was the average of the two numbers in the middle. So that means that this 11 is actually part of the left team. It's part of those 6. And so now I need to find the median of the lower half. So I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the median is going to be here between 5 and 6. Once again, since I have two numbers in the middle, I'm going to go ahead and add those together. So 5 plus 6 is equal to 11. And then I'm going to divide that by 2, which I already know 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. If you didn't know that, then still you would just have to divide 11 divided by 2. And that gives me 5.5. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my Q1. So I'm going to go ahead and put that here on Q1, 5.5. All right, what about our upper median, or Q3? So I'm going to be looking at this data from this 11 all the way to the 16. So it's going to be between 14 and 14. So 14 plus 14 is 28 divided by 2 is 14, ladies and gentlemen. That's my Q3. Q3 is my 14. All right, the minimum is obviously 4. That's the least value, and the maximum is 16. And that's it. Now I have all the information necessary to build the box plot. So ladies and gentlemen, I need to move each section of the box plot. So we have the bottom whisker. That's going to be our minimum. This is going to be our Q1. This is going to be our Q2, our median. Then we're going to have Q3 right here. And this is going to be our maximum. All right. So with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and move each of those lines to where they're supposed to be. Let's begin with our Q2, with our median. So the median is 11, so I need to take this line, click on it, and you can shift it. I'm going to put it right here at 11. Not 11.5, not 10.5, but right at 11. There it is. Q1 is 5.5, so it's going to be between 5 and 6, so it's going to be right here. There it is, 5.5. Q3 is going to be at 14. It's already there. The minimum should be at 4. and the maximum should be at 16. All right, and that's technically it. That's all we're doing for the assignment, but I want you guys to know what each of these sections means. Please remember, ladies and gentlemen, that again, Q2 or the median is right here. This line, the line inside the box will always be the median, okay? That will always be the median. And here it happens to be 11. That means that half of the data points up there, half of them are going to be 11 or more, and that's exactly what we see here. See how these 6 are 11 or more, and half of them are going to be 11 or less, and that's exactly what we see up here. Q1 is going to be the bottom part of the box. That is our Q1, and here we see that it's at 5.5. That means that a fourth of these points, remember that each section has a fourth of the data, will be 5.5 or less. So in this case, notice that we have 5, 4, and 4. These 3 points are right here. They are less. That is 25% of the data. And then we have our Q3. Q3, which happens to be 14. That means that 25% of the data is more than that, and that's exactly what we see here. The minimum, guys, is always the bottom whisker. So right here, we see it right at 4. And the maximum will always be the upper whisker, which we see right at 16. When reading a box plot, ladies and gentlemen, remember that each section has the same amount of data. Even this section between Q1 and Q2, as large as it seems, has the same amount of data as this smaller section right before it. How can I prove that? Well, look, between the minimum and Q1, we have 1, 2, 3 points. And between Q1 and Q2, again, I have 3 points. 1, 2, 3 points. The only reason they're so much further apart is because they're further apart, right? They're the difference between 5.5 and 11 is almost 6, whereas over here, 4 and 5 are only separated by 1. Okay. In this first section, they are really close together, those 3 points, whereas in this second section, the points are much further apart from each other. There's more variability within the points. All right, but please remember that. Let's do another one. Let's do one more. Let's go ahead and do one more. And let me submit the answer. Yes, it's correct. All right, let me do a new problem. All right, same thing, guys. Let's start with this data set. It's already organized from least to greatest. So let's find the middle. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I should have 4 on one side, 4 on the other. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 is our median. Notice that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 points to the left, 4 points to the right. 5 here is not part of the left or the right. It is not part of the lower or the upper. That is my Q2. So again, that 5 is not part of the left, so I'm going to exclude it. I'm not going to include it here with the bottom set. Now let's find the median here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 2 points in the middle. We have 3 and 4. So 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. That is my Q1. And then here on the upper half, we have 2 points again. We have 7 and 12. 7 plus 12, that is 19. 19 divided by 2 should be 9.5. So again, I added those two together. I just did 12 plus 7. 7 plus 2 is 9, so that's 19. And then I just did 19 divided by 2. 2 goes into 19 9 times, because 2 times 9 is 18. Remainder of 1, decimal, bring down the 0. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So yes, that's how I got 9.5. All right, now let's just put in the data. My median is 5. My Q1 is 3.5. My Q3 is 9.5. My maximum is 12. My minimum is 3. All right, so now let's just move the box plot around. Let me go ahead and move the box plot around. I know that those are in the way now, but okay, there we go. So we see Q2 is right at 5, so I need to be able to see that. All right, so Q2 is right at 5, so I need the median to be at 5. I need to move everything over because I need my median to be at 5. Very good. Q1 is at 3.5, so it's going to be right here. Q3 is at 9.5, so that should be right here. The maximum is 12. The minimum is 3. All right, and that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. Please remember that this section right here between Q1, which is this right here, and Q3, the upper part of the box, ladies and gentlemen, that is your interquartile range. That is your middle 50% of the data, okay? If they ever ask you for the interquartile range, which is the IQR, interquartile range or IQR, remember that that's just Q3 minus Q1. You're trying to see the distance from Q1 to Q3. And right here, we see that it's going to be 9.5 minus 3.5, which is just 6. But they're not asking for that information. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you found this video helpful. And with that in mind, I will see you next time.